boy Lil B in this motherfucker. 100,000. Pretty boys, rich boys, stand up. Lil B, nigga, pretty boy in this bitch.
Y'all enjoying this song?
All y'all motherfucking bitches suck my dick. All day, nigga, 100 million, nigga.
Alright, that's enough. I'm sorry. Shalom, shalom. It's kind of a weird intro, but the reason why I did that is because I came across this article, and they painted this they gave it a change this time. See, they didn't paint this guy this time. No, they actually painted Little B as Christ. I'm sorry. I'm when I saw this, I was just like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, wow. That's so random. Right? They gave us Tyler the Creator as Christ. So I just wanted to, I guess, make this video talking a little bit about, this just the vexing stupidity of Japheth. Like, his moronic ways are starting to really irk me. And just their sheer amount of jealousy, right? Now, check this out. So this woman, she decides to make this Last Supper mural or whatever, and of course she does the PC Last Supper. You have the Greek here, you have the Arab here, you have the Jewish people here, and then you have the I don't even know, like the African, the drug dealer. Like, I don't know, like this dude looked funny as hell. And I was just like, okay, well, that's strange. But then I saw this portrait of the Last Supper, which depicts Jesus as a black man, is shot with an air rifle. So at the museum, someone decided to take an air rifle and shoot it. Yep. It really does show you. Yeah, it does matter how he looked, doesn't it? Can you see someone shooting an air rifle at this? At so-called Jesus, if he was anyone else? If this was a Chinese man, would they have shot an air rifle? Maybe, but a lot less likely than if they would have did it for someone who looks like this. They just saw his ugliness and they were offended. You're like, no. Jesus is not black and ugly with big lips. Oh, I still can't laugh. Oh, my excuse me. Anyway, let's go through this article real quick. A portrait of the Last Supper, which depicts Jesus as a black man, has been shot with an air rifle while hanging on the wall of a church. The iconic painting, which shows Jesus and his 12 disciples during his last days before he was betrayed by Judas, had been reimagined by the artist. In her version, Jesus was portrayed as a black man, and the painting was on display at George Church, Nailsworth, in the Cotswolds. I'm not going to try to say that. Actually, it looks fun. Gloucestershire. Gloucestershire. Oh, wasn't that hard? Yeah, so now you see this. It pissed off someone so much that they saw this. Why do they hate us so much? Right? And he's the only one here. He's the only so-called black person here. Everyone else is white. We got our Arab brother over here, but everyone else, he all we have is him. Right? Now, this could have been half of the room could have been black. Right? And I don't think they would have had a problem. And of course, this is just from my perspective. I don't even know who did it. I'm just having fun right now. But maybe even like most of these people could have been black. But as long as Jesus is white, then it's okay. As long as it's the white brain controlling the black body, then it's fine. You know, as long as we are being used as slaves, we're in our right place. That's how they think, right? That's how Japheth thinks, or Esau, or whoever they are, or the Horites. Lorna said she never dreamed anyone would react so violently to her painting. She added that the images of damage were shown to a ballistics expert who told her it was caused by an air rifle. Lorna told the BBC, said, "Who wrote this? The hell? I was always aware that painting a black Christ or a black Jesus might be controversial." How is this controversial? Like, what the hell? See, it's so ironic. This is only controversial because everyone wants to accept Christ as long as he's not black, as long as he's not how he was. That is so ironic. That's why I always say that joke that when he does come back, for those who survive, they're going to be crying, "Oh my God, no, it's a nigger." You know, all these damn Midwest people who love their Jesus. They don't love Jesus. That's their God, right? That's their God. It's another one of their damn Aryan gods. But I never dreamed that anyone could have a reaction that was so violent. The pellet hole was found on Jesus' side at the same point where he was stabbed by a Roman soldier while on the cross to make sure he was dead. Wow. Yo. Oh my God. These people are hilarious. Like this you can't make this up. When did this happen? This happened. No, that's not when it happened. Let me see. When was this written? Oh, it was 4 months ago? Hey, you guys are really getting ready for his return. I'll say that. And we're going to get into this sort of behavior, you know? Actually, let's get into it now. So, I'm going to give Dante Fortson 100% credit, and let me make sure that you know exactly who I'm talking about. This brother right here just did his videos on unmasking the Gentiles. He did the curse of Japheth and the sons of Japheth. Bro, those were outstanding videos. I don't believe in 100% of what he said, because a lot of what he said is a theory, but he says that himself. He's like, well, I don't know. But I've read in different books. So just go check out those videos, because that's mainly the point, or the points that I got my points from. So, do you guys remember in Genesis 9, where Noah, after, the situation happened with him, whatever happened. To sum it short, Fortson, or Dante Fortson, he says that he believes that Canaan was already born, and Canaan pulled a joke on Noah and stripped him naked while he was drunk, and Shem and Japheth were in on it, right? And Ham came out to tell them what happened, because there's a word that they don't translate, and it's like a word, I forgot the exact word in Hebrew, but it means beginning to end. So this sentence, "And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father, and told his two brethren without," what the hell? Oh, outside. This is a bad translation. His two brethren outside. But he told them, his two brethren outside, from beginning to end. He told them the whole story. So Ham knew the whole story. And Shem and Japheth, they took the garment and they covered him. And then Noah awoke, and he knew what his younger son had done to him. So when it uses the word son, like there's no such word as grandson for the Hebrews. It's like it's son of it would be like what it would be Canaan, son of Ham, son of Noah, right? It wouldn't say the grandson. Like it doesn't, because it's not there, right? That's not how they refer to people. They refer to them generation by generation. So first he says, "Cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants, shall he be unto his brethren." So Dante, he says a servant of servants means that Canaan will be a servant to a servant. Now he said, "Blessed be the Lord God of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant." So he's actually like saying that Shem got a backhanded compliment, because if Canaan is the servant of Shem, then that would make Shem a servant. Now, of course, this is his interpretation of it, but I thought it was a pretty good theory. Now, the next verse, "God shall enlarge Japheth, and he shall dwell in the tents of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant." So Japheth is also going to be a servant according to his theory. And Ham, notice he wasn't even cursed, right? So that was his theory regarding that, but he pointed out something very huge, and it was this word enlarged. No one knows what this word means. But then he explained it, he broke it down, because he went to, what does Japheth or Japheth mean? It comes from the word patah. And do you know what patah means? To be simple, to allure, to become enticed, to deceive, to entice, to be persuaded, silly, simple. So Japheth is dumb. He's retarded. He's simple. That's what he named his son. He named his son Simple, right? They called it, like, come on. Now he's about to connect this all, right? And I'm not connecting this all, because this is his research. Now, pathal, that is the word here for enlarged. Now, it can mean to be spacious, to be wide open, to make spacious, but it can also mean what? To be simple, entice, deceive, persuade. So which one do you think this means right here? Based on Japheth's name, which one do you think? So it really means the Most High will gas up Japheth, and he will dwell in the tents of Shem. So he's being gassed the hell up right now. He has delusions of grandeur. He thinks he's the Jews. The white people think that they're the Native Americans. The Mormons, right? They practice replacement theology. Everyone was white. Shem, Ham, and Japheth were all white, and Canaan was black, and somehow they created all the rest of the races, when they don't do that today. They do replacement theology. All they do is lie. They're a bunch of idiots, man. So I'm gonna play this video. This video I saw a while ago. Let's just play it, because I want you to see the attitude really behind it.
When I saw this headline, I kind of laughed, and I said, "Oh, this is so ridiculous. Yet another person claiming it's racist to have a white Santa." And by the way, for all you kids watching at home, Santa just is white, but this person is just arguing that maybe we should also have a black Santa. Just because it makes you feel uncomfortable doesn't mean it has to change. Jesus was a white man too, but it's like he was a historical figure. That's a verifiable fact, as is Santa. I just want the kids watching to know that.
So it's not necessarily about whether you should be changing Santa or not. One, how stupid is this lady to say that it is a historical fact that Santa is white? That's how stupid she is. Because if you go far back enough, you'll get from Santa all the way to Nimrod, and Nimrod was, a black African man. So, and by the way, they want to practice replacement theology on that as well. These people are just these people are just, they're just devoid of any morality, you know. And that's what the Most High, you know, that's what the Most High said too. Like, that's the type of people that, you know, Japheth are, right? You know. But she's just like, they want everyone to be white, you know, and then they're going to get on other people and say, well, why are you offended? You know, we got first dibs. We won already. Like, that's their mindset, and they don't even realize it. You shouldn't give a shit if someone wants to replace the skin color of Santa, but you do, right? Why do you care? That's the bigger question, right? Now, next video, check out this. Check out more stupidity.
What Jesus looked like. But to start off with, I want to go right to the very beginning of the story and think about what we've got in the Gospels, which is this, in that we are not told at all what Jesus looks like. Anyway.
Wait. So she said we're not told at all what Jesus looked like. Now, I could, of course, everyone goes to Revelation 1:13, I think it is, where it says that his hairs were white as wool, and his feet were like as you know, burnt bronze or whatever. I think that's his angelic form, or his spiritual humanoid form, because I think angels have different forms. I think they have like dragon forms because they're called seraphims and things of that sort. You know, you have Quetzalcoatl, who has many similarities to Christ, right? And a seraphim is supposed to be the highest power of angel. So, you know, there are many forms. However, he's not going to be, you know, white on earth and black in heaven. What the hell? Does that make it? How does that make sense, right? So the rest of this is just her literally like going through these and saying that, well, you know, that she tried to show this dude, you know, little B pretty much is G, and the crowd was laughing too when they saw it, because this looks dumb as hell. You pick this picture, like they're not old pictures already of him literally looking like this. You know, this is just more stupidity, right? Now all she does is say that, you know, well, he didn't look like that. He looked more like this. You know, his face kept changing over and over and over again, right? It kept changing. I don't know what he necessarily looked like. It doesn't matter in that regard. Like, well, how black was he? Well, what face structure did he have? Like, why do you care? Now she's gonna pull a bunch of, you know, doctored and added pictures of the so-called Jews, right? And say, well, if he had curly hair, you know, it was probably like a Greek or a Roman, like, oh, he had Jewish curly hair. Oh, okay. Yeah, he had Roman Edomite curly hair, right? Yeah, these are the Jews, right? They use these same points. They said this was Moses. So you think pale people were in the sun chalking up bricks in Egypt? Like, y'all crazy, bro. But yeah, the Jews look like this. Get out of here, bro. Replacement theology experts. Foolish nation. And the reason why I'm calling them a foolish nation, because that's what the Most High called them. They have moved me to jealousy with that which is not a God. They have provoked me to anger with their vanities. So the Most High is doing what we did to him. So because we moved him to jealousy and to serve things that are not a God, he's going to pretty much replace us with the people, right, that are not a people. And I will provoke them to anger. So he's going to make us jealous when he says, I will provoke them to anger with a foolish nation. Now, when you look up this word foolish, it means that these people, they're devoid of any like morality, any logic. They can't put facts together. You know, they're foolish. You know, they're very pretentious. This describes these people very well. You know, he also refers to Esau like this, but not necessarily foolish, because Esau does, he does many of the same things that Japheth does too. The difference is that he does it with hatred for us. You know, they're doing it out of jealousy. He does it more out of hatred. Pretty much what the so-called Jews do. Like they do jealousy and hatred because they're Amalek. Pretty much. They're Horites. I went over Japheth already. So, also, she said, "Oh, we don't know how he looked, right?" So, what's this? This is a pretty old depiction of him. Now, he mentions the many different, descriptions. Jesus' hair was short with tight curls. Early Christian historians, they said he had a long nose with scanty and curly hair, but having a line in the middle of the beard after the fashion of the Nazarenes. I don't trust any of the early Christian historians because they were trying to slowly change Christ, make him more and more white looking, you know, over the time. Like you could tell that they were doing that. Oh, he had a long nose, trying to make him more European. Bastards, man. That's why it says in Maccabees that they were trying to write their stuff in our books. Because they're jealous. Japheth is jealous with his dumb ass. Look, it's like Ed and Eddie, bro. You know? Look. If we were to be summed up by like one of these three, Japheth would be Ed. Right? Now I don't know about the other two, but this is Japheth right here. This big dumbass. Jesus was a curly-haired man of moderate height. That's not what the scripture said. So we can't take these descriptions that serious. We have to take them with a grain of salt, right? But still, all of them said the same thing. He had, you know, curly hair. You know, he said that he saw a man of brown complexion. Right? Now this person thinks that they're referring to dreadlocks. So he puts it all together and says, this is what Christ looked like. Now, Christ was not supposed to be, you know, like a handsome man or anything like that. You know, he probably could have been, an ugly man. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's the revelation or the fulfillment of Scripture. Let's read this, Isaiah 53. Shout out to my Tanakh onlys. Shout out to the person who says that we are Americans. You know, we don't come from Yahushua or Yahawashai. No, we come from David, my naga. Yeah, dumbass. Who has believed our message, and to whom has the arm of the Lord been revealed? He grew up before him like a tender shoot, and like a root out of dry ground. So, what is this talking about? It's talking about someone, right? He grew up before him like a tender shoot and like a root out of dry ground. So this person came out of nowhere. You know, he was pretty much a light in darkness. He was life in dead ground. He had no beauty or majesty to attract us to him. So he wasn't physically appealing. Nothing in his appearance that we should desire him. He was despised and rejected by mankind, a man of suffering and familiar with pain. Who is this talking about? Who is this in the scriptures? I want to know who do these Tanakh only people say this is? Who? Like, what prophet was this? Like one like one from whom people hide their faces. He was despised, and we held him in low esteem. You know, this is a constant thing in the scriptures. It says that, you know, Christ was a man of many sorrows. Everywhere he went, you know, people hated him because Satan was really coming after him. You know, he had to fulfill a role. You know, I know, you know, to a certain extent how it feels. That's why I hate bullies so much. The Most High made me hate them. And it really allowed me to really be able to connect with his son because, you know, I didn't drink out nearly the same chalice or the same amount, but, you know, I took some out of his chalice and he gave me a small cup of it. Absolutely. I've been drinking out of it. We all have to, you know. Surely he took up our pain and bore our suffering, yet we considered him punished by God, stricken by him and afflicted. But he was pierced for our transgressions. He was what? He was pierced for our transgressions. Y'all could read this, bro. Who is this talking about? Oh, let me guess. This is talking about David. We the descendants of David, my naga. All right, we'll call on David when you're about to go through this tribulation. Go ahead, call on David. But now they mock me, men younger than I. Oh, sorry, Job 30. But now they mock me, men younger than I, whose father I would have disdained to put with my sheepdogs. Of what use was the strength of their hands to me, since their vigor had gone from them? You know, let me skip down. In the brush they gathered salt herbs, and their food was the root of the broom bush. They were banished from human society, shouted at as if they were thieves. They were forced to live in the dry steam beds, among the rocks and in holes in the ground. They burrowed among the bushes and huddled in the undergrowth. A base and nameless brood. They were driven out of the land. Now those young men mock me in a song. I have become a byword among them. They detest me and keep their distance. They do not hesitate to spit in my face. What is this talking about? Now that God has unstrung my bow and afflicted me, they throw off restraint in my presence. On my right, the tribe attacks. They lay snares for my feet. They build their siege ramps against me. They break up my road. They succeed in destroying me. No one can help him, they say. No one can help them, they say. Who is this talking about? I'm going to ask you, who the hell is this talking about? Did Job go through this? Shit, I don't remember that. Y'all could read the rest of this, bro. I wanted to really just point out something. Because we know who this is talking about. But look, go down to 27. The churning inside me never stops. The days of suffering confront me. I go about blackened, but not by the sun. I stand up in the assembly and cry for help. I have become a brother of jackals, a company of owls. So the fact that he used that terminology means that he's not white, right? He's a person of color. But now let's go down. My skin grows black and peels. My body burns with fever. My lyre is tuned to mourning, and my pipe to the sound of wailing. Foolish nation. Foolish nation. Let me finish up with this. Because these people, I didn't even realize they got deleted off of YouTube. They were making some racist ass videos, but you know, they were good because they gave me a good laugh when I was watching them before. You know, I think they said damn, what is that person's name? It was some old guy. He's the oh man. What is his name? I'm never gonna remember this old dude's name, man. What is that dude's name? It's not Richard Spencer. It was him.
This is absurd.
Say again.
The racial are non-white.
Race war, it's here.
Non-white people say that white people are conducting a race war against them? This is absurd.
Say again.
The race war against black people has been going on.
If white people continue at their same rate, if they encourage non-white immigration, if they dare not speak out against interracial marriage, then whites will disappear.
It's not a race war that's developing. It's been there.
Really is the history of the white race. Who's going to win this race war? We are going to win.
Oh, I still can't remember this cracker's name, but I don't know. I have no idea. But anyway, I'm just gonna move on. It doesn't matter. They pretty much said, well, you know, if they're not right,
let's talk
why can't
about
anyone?
The most controversial combination of words.
I think, like she said, well, if those two white dudes I showed you, she said, well, if they're not right about what they're saying, how come no one has beaten them in a debate? Like, these people are simple.
Let's talk about the most controversial combination of words in our modern age. A phrase that is so scary that millions of white men aren't bold enough to touch it, not even with a 100-foot pole. Simply talking about this idea is now banned from discussion on Facebook and soon other platforms. White
crime thing. You have been reported.
Am I even allowed to say it? Can I use this combination of two words in a sentence? I watch when this phrase is used to shut down debate, just like shouting racist. When said from one white person to another, it's unbelievable to watch them squirm like they caught some kind of a dirty disease, then deflecting and pointing at others. He's the witch. No, she's the witch. And when one has been labeled a WN, the earth around them moves and others flee the scene, scurrying to not associate, desperate to not be labeled one too. If I say the word, this video could be banned for promoting it. Stopping discussion of it is literally the biggest priority for tech companies and governments.
You have no place on our platforms.
And other tech companies, as we know, followed their lead.
You have no home here.
White. What does it evoke in your mind? I don't even have to say it. Anti-white propaganda has laid it all out for you. We've all seen the movies. Hollywood makes it all very clear. White equals the worst thing any white person can ever be. Even I haven't particularly liked the term because it evokes something from the 1970s Aryan nation run by meth heads and plenty of federal agents. But the definition of this word keeps changing to encompass more and more white people. If you as a white person are critical of mass immigration, diversity, and becoming a minority in your country, you are a white.
In your country. See, like when I first was like getting into this, I was like, your country, you stole this country. I'm like, wait, no, they didn't. They didn't steal anything. The Most High gave them this country. So I'll give her credit for that. But the thing is not the fact that it's a fact that it's the problem. It's the fact that she doesn't even know the Most High gave it to them or to her. She doesn't know that. She thinks that her ancestors got there. Well, you know what? You're going to see how she thinks they got this country.
Now it's even gone as far as the establishment calling Trump one too. Yet most of us know he cares for Israel far more than white Americans. In fact, he mentions every group of people except for white Americans. We can be thrilled about Black, Asian, or Hispanic unemployment rates, but never, ever, ever mention white Americans as a group. It's only okay to mention them when you are shaming or blaming them as a group. What it means then is that it's dirty, immoral, and shameful for a white person to be concerned about other white people. That they are the equivalent of horrible criminals if they do care. You as a white person are not allowed to be a nationalist. You are not allowed to want your people to remain a majority because that is separatism. You are only allowed one option: multiculturalism and becoming a minority. But you must also gleefully accept ethnic and racially based nationalism and separatism for all other peoples on the planet. In fact, Trump
now, under normal circumstances, I agree with what she's saying. But she's not under a normal circumstance. That's the difference. You guys stole everything, right? Like, yes, the Most High gave you this land, but he told you to do it in a certain way. You did your own thing, right? You did something that he was just like, oh, wow. He was like, okay, now, all right, only, and then you just went crazy, right? And then he just sat in the back and just covered his mouth, like, like, this is what I have to deal with now. Now I have to deal with you idiots. Now I have to deal with you retards, pretty much. You know what that's like? That's like kicking out your son, right? You live in a mansion. You can get anything you want, but there's that that slow kid on the side of the street. Now he kicks you out, his son, and tells that slow kid to come in his house and to be his new son. Right? Now the slow kid is just messing everything up in his damn mansion. But because he has to teach you a lesson, or teach us a lesson, now he has to deal with this little bastard in his house, messing up everything, kicking over all of his vases. And he's getting pissed at both of us. He's getting pissed at them for just being who they are, being what they made them, what he made them, as idiots, right? Like these people are simple in many different ways. Not black people, because I only almost said that because she refers to herself as a white person, but us as the Israelites and everyone else, all the other darker nations, the rest of the Shemites, the rest of the Hamites, they have been treating us, especially the Israelites though, as the bottom of their shoe. Everything revolves around these people, right? They don't see that. I don't understand how you don't see this. Yet they have the nerve to cry racism. They have the nerve to want to be treated as an equal when they come to our houses and our domains, and black people do it anyway. Hispanic people, they love white people. It's a damn shame. That's how you can tell we are not made in the same way. We're made with a whole ton of mercy, to the point where it's kind of sickening to see this dynamic. And if it's sickening for me to see it, that it's sickening for the Most High to see it, because we're not meant to be under them. They are not meant to lead, right? These people are not meant to have power, because look what they did with the power. They messed up everything because they're a foolish nation.
Passing a law to make it illegal to be critical of Israeli nationalism. And the same people who support this law want to ban nationalism for white people. Understand that if you were white and you support the existence of white nations, countries where white people are the majority and have been since the start, if you support this anywhere on the planet, even little European countries like Estonia, you are promoting white. But the truth is, Europe and America from the founding was a white nation. It was a self-evident truth. They didn't need to call themselves WNs. Being a majority in the nation they founded was without question. In fact, America's immigration policy was so strict that in the 1920s, they even prohibited people from certain European nations. Yes, they only wanted specific Europeans in the country, not just any old white people. And you know what? Good for them, because they built the country, it's their choice. America was a white nation, a geographic space with a white majority from its inception. And before you bring up Indians, they weren't first in ancient...
Before you brought up Indians. Not she didn't have enough respect to them to call them Native Americans. Like, before you bring up Indians. Let's get this in full context.
Majority from its inception. Was what? Good for them, because they built the country, it's their choice. America was a white nation, a geographic space with a white majority from its inception. And before you bring up Indians, they weren't first in ancient America, and they were warring with each other. They were also very tribal and had their own unique nations and geographical spaces. So they were the equivalent of nationalists. But
bro, do you hear these arguments? First of all, she was saying that, listen, don't bring up the Indians because they weren't even here, right? We were here. Like, what? Does this make any sense? Does this sound like a person who lacks morality, a person who lacks empathy, who can put facts together? Because that's exactly who this, this person is. And, it's almost bordering on, fallen angel, Horite / Esau hatred, because do you hear how she just talked? Do you see how disrespectful what she said was? Do you see how prideful she sounds? This is how prideful these people are. They have so much damn pride. I don't know why this cave beast Horite satyr is so damn prideful. I don't know why this troglodyte is so damn prideful. I don't know. She called us Indians and we were savages that were killing each other, but we were tribal, so we were nationalists too. Therefore, it's okay for them to bring their white asses over here and kill all of us, right? And enslave us and put us in the hood, put us on reservations, right? And make us love them. And then get tight at us for being in their neighborhoods. Obadiah chapter 1 verse 3. The pride of thine heart have deceived thee, O thou that dwelleth in the cliffs of the rock, whose habitation is high. Whose habitation is high. Who's high? Where they live is high. But not only that, let's finish. That saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? What does this sound like? It sounds like the same people who are enlarged, right? The same cave beasts who are enlarged right now. The Horites, the Edomites, the Japheths. Most High is going to bring your asses down, crashing down, like the stock market. Y'all don't know, man, but judgment's coming, bro. And I'm happy I found this video. I'm gonna be looking for your white ass. Peace.